So in your screen right now, you see the Acumatica browser. This is delivered in Google. I'm using Chrome, but you can use any browser. I'm sure you've already seen the overview. And as probably you notice in the overview, Acumatica really likes to focus on dashboards to provide a focus for your roles in an organization. And today I'm logged in as a field service dispatcher or manager. And with this dashboard, I get a chance to see what's going on in my organization. I can see the appointments I have outstanding today for this week, what I still have left open that hasn't been closed, anything that I need to be able to schedule if I am out looking for, or if I have some appointments, and I do have some appointments here that have been created but haven't been scheduled yet, and so that will be work that I want to focus on to get done. Down here, I have just a listing of the appointments that have been completed that are ready to bill. And over here, I've got a graphic that shows over the next few weeks, actually, this takes us all the way out to the end of 2021, what the workload looks like for each of my technicians based on workload count. Now, I could have switched this up. This could have been based on hours per week. All of our dashboards allow you to manipulate them and customize them to fit your business model. So the way you want to see this is the way it will be seen. Our service module is made up of two types of work orders. One work order, it's called a service order in Acumatica speak. And a service order is an accumulation of individual days work orders. And the reason I might want to accumulate that is to view profitability over a single multi-day event. Let's say that I had a large HVAC system go down at a sizable commercial location, and it's going to take 3, 4, 5 days and 5 technicians to get in there and get the work done. I can use a service order to create all of the appointments that I need for all of those technicians and all of the work and all of the inventory, and accumulate all of that together in a single billing entity that allows me to bill once for that event, if that's the way I'd like to do it. And it also shows me profitability for that one event. For those work orders that you need for a single day, single event kind of break fix, and that's what we're going to demonstrate today, I would use an appointment. And what appointment allows me to do is create a document, dispatch that document, and then bill that document all in one nice workflow. And it will accumulate also the cost of the appointment. It will track against a specific piece of equipment we're tracking, but what it does is just very, very nicely lays that workflow out for me. And we're going to demonstrate that, and that will be the process that we look through. In Acumatica, we have multiple ways to actually track where our technicians are located now and how we're going to dispatch them. And those really have to do with geography and with date and time. And let's start with the date and time, what we refer to as our calendar board. This calendar board can be set up to be displayed separately. So you can imagine I can narrow down what's going on with Acumatica here, expand what is on the calendar, and put this on the wall. I can put it on a 75 or an 85-inch TV, and we can look and see where all of our technicians are, either for a specific geography, or I can take the geographies off and view where all of our technicians are located at a specific date or time. Gives me the capability when I see conflicts like I see here to drag and drop and reduce those conflicts so that I can manage the board. When I see appointments that I believe probably need to fill in some additional space, I can open those up, fill in that additional space so that all the space on my board is used up if required. The board gives me colors to cue me into what is going on. So here I've got green is not started. I've got blue that is already started and in process. So obviously Eric here missed the first two appointments or decided to do these appointments in some different order. And so if I'm a dispatcher and I'm concerned about that, I can reach out and find out what's going on with that. I can drag and drop unassigned appointments onto this calendar. So I have my list of unassigned appointments for this particular geography right here. I've got 20 of them. And if I wish, I can drag and drop those onto the calendar and fill in those empty spots, move them around and make them fit the calendar the way I wish to. Not required that we do it that way, just one of the ways that I can go in and reassign or unassign those appointments. Now we can also see appointments by geography. And when I look at appointments by geography, it's going to give me the location of the events for the day. So here I've got a group of locations taking place in the Northeast. I can come through and review individually what each technician is doing. So Maxwell has got two appointments across town. So it looks like that he can probably make those. When we look at Eric's schedule is a little confusing. It seems that he's going to go up here second, down here third, and over here fourth. So we might want to manipulate that a little bit to make that easier, at least for the drive time for Eric. Gives us a way to do that. When we click on this button here, which is the truck or the van, it will show any devices that we're tracking on the map. I'm going to roll out here and see if I've got my phone connected. I don't. I haven't connected yet. But if my phone was connected here, you would have seen my phone lighting up here in beautiful Tampa, Florida, as opposed to being up here in the Northeast with the rest of the workers. So that would clue you into a problem with the location of your individual employees. You can track cell phones, you can track iPads, anything with location services on. You can turn on permissions to track those for your employees. So let's go ahead and we're going to create a break fix appointment. We have one of our customers that's calling in who would like work on a piece of equipment that we're tracking for them, an HVAC system. To start the appointment, I can start that appointment from the calendar. I can start the appointment as I did here from the list of appointments, or I can actually select new appointments from the workspace for services. But either way, any way that I get that started, I'm going to have some selections that I can make. I can select a service order type. So it's going to be a repair order. We know that. It's not going to be an install. Not going to be an inspection. We can look up the customer, and the customer we're looking for is USA Bartending Schools. So just by typing in the beginning of the customer's name, I can find them in our list of customers that drops down. If I wish, I can find them using other things. For example, I can search for the phone number. I can search for an address. So if the customer is not showing up based on a customer name, maybe somebody put it in incorrectly, I have other ways to search for the customer using the screen for customer lookup here in Acumatica. If this customer has a service contract, I can find it. If I am building out a project and I just need to send somebody on an appointment for a particular project, I can tie into that as well. So I'll go ahead and give my technician a little bit of information about what's going on. All I know right now is there's an HVAC system that is down, or a unit's down. So I'm going to dispatch with very little information. I'll select a charge line that can be used for the customer. If the customer can see the asset tag or has a serial number for the item that we'd like to be supporting, I will ask them to read me the asset tag or read me the serial number. If they do not have access to that or don't know what that means, I can bypass selecting the specific unit, and the technician can select the specific unit that they're going to work on at the time of service on site when they get there. So really up to the customer whether they know that unit number or not. And then finally, as a dispatcher, I can go ahead and add a estimate of duration. This is something that seems fairly simple, like leave it at an hour. That defaults in automatically from the way we set that up. If I think it's going to take a little more time, I'll go ahead and add an estimate of 4 hours for the work to be done. And the hourly rate will be looked up based on the combination of customer and the item, the labor item that we have listed here to be charged. And with that, this appointment is ready to dispatch. And so I have my option on how to dispatch it. I can go back to that calendar board, drag and drop this onto the calendar, or right here from the appointment, I can go ahead and add my staff. When I add my staff, I can pick off a name because I know that's who I want to send, or I can come in and actually select skill sets that are required for a specific job. So if I would come in and say I need a CDL driver, then it's going to reduce the list of the people that are available for this specific appointment. I build these skills out inside the system and maintain them so I can have different skill sets. I can track different licensing requirements. So if I have to have somebody that has a specific license to work on this unit, I can select that license at the time of dispatch and then select from that list the person that I wish to send out. And this appointment is done and is already been dispatched. Notice that I get a warning here. It basically says that I have conflicted this specific technician. This technician has another appointment at this day and time. Now I can ignore that, which is what I'm going to do, or we can actually require that that be cleared before I can complete this appointment. So up to you how you want to set that up in your environment and how you want to work with your technicians. Now, a couple of things have happened here in my demo environment while I was setting this appointment up and making the dispatch. First thing that happened, because this start date and time is within 12 hours of the appointment, I have sent out a notification to the customer that your appointment's been scheduled and here's the time that it's been scheduled. That's gone out to this specific email address right here. The other thing that's happened is that I've notified my technician, because I have them assigned here, that this job has been assigned to them, and they've received a notification on the phone, which I'm going to show you in just a second. Now, a couple of things that I want to make sure that I touch on before I get to the mobile app, because it's important to know what we can do with the mobile app right here from the browser. As a back office person responsible for creating these appointments, I have some other things that I can help the technician with. First off, I can build very large notes and instructions that show up on the front page of the actual application. This may be an instruction on who to ask for in the guard shack, and how, ask for Tony so that he can call Nick in the back and let you in to the job site. Anything that you'd like to be up front and right in the face of the technician on that mobile app, we can add right here. Second thing that I can do is I can actually drag and drop onto this appointment any kind of PDF or Excel files that we need to manage this specific job. So if I have a set of instructions that I'd like for the technician to have in his hand, and I know these aren't instructions, but we'll pretend that they are, I can drag and drop those instructions right here onto the appointment, and it will upload those in the files. And those files will be available right from the technician's mobile app. Additionally, any files or notes that are located on the customer or customer location will already have defaulted into this specific work order. So if I've got site drawings and things that I need to send out with my employees when they go out to the field, some of those will automate on themselves. Others I'll add when I am actually dispatching. So you can see here, this is my Android notifications, and we'll see that appointment number 6335 is listed here and shows me that it's been assigned to me. So I'm going to go ahead and select that and log in. It pops up the appointment for me. And this is the front page of the appointment as we talked about. So that note that we added shows up here at the bottom. I see that the HVAC unit is down. The information that I have added either from the location or from dragging and dropping onto the appointment are both there as well. So I can open those up. I can view those. See what's going on in the system. If there were any notes that were added in the specific window up here, they would show up right here and would be available for me to see as well. And of course, I just hit the wrong X. That's okay. Tell your technicians not to panic. It's easy to get back to where you were. Okay, so other things that I can do with the app. I can view and see where I'm going to using the Google integration to our application. If I want to get directions, I click on directions and move through the directions to get to that location. I can also view information about what we've been doing for this customer. So if this is the customer talks to me as soon as I get there and says, look, sir, this is the third time you've been here this week. Can you tell me what's going on? And if I'm the third technician that has been there and I don't have a clue, I can go to the customer's window and open up the appointment history and take a look at the appointments that have been ongoing for this customer. I can look at the appointments that I've made. I can look at the appointments that everybody's made. So it gives me a way to go through and take a look at what's going on with this specific customer. Once I have used started my process, and whether you're going to charge travel time or not is up to you, but I can, if I wish, begin to use my app as a time clock as well. And I will go ahead and do that. We're going to depart, and what departing will do is it will create for me a time entry from the point of time that I set this. So I'm going to start a travel time from 9:30 a.m. and it will create two things for me. First off, on the tab that says log, I now have a time entry. It has begun to track time for me on this specific engagement. Start time here is 9:30 because I overrode the cell phone. You're not required to override the cell phone. You can allow it to just select the times based on when you punch that. And so it becomes a punch clock for you. On the details tab, remember we had one line that we set up for the repair time, MROAC. Now I've got two lines. I've got a travel line that's automatically been created that is in process as a line status. And then the repair time is here, but is not doing anything yet because we have not started that time. When we arrive on site, now our menu has changed because I'm on the way. I can now create expense receipts. Say I had to pay a toll. I've got mileage that I have to charge. It's my personal car, whatever. I can create an expense report directly here on this appointment right here now that I am in transit to the appointment. Also notice that I have a new arrival time here, or an arrive menu option, and I'm going to select that. It tells me what time it is based on the phone, and then it will also tell me what time I started, and I am going to accept those two defaults. And now I've created a time entry that's completed in the log and completed on the details. So notice the status has changed, completed here for travel, in process here for my on-site detail of what I'm working on, and in the log, now I have completed the labor travel and I have the repair time in process. Back to the details tab. I've gone over to the piece of equipment that we're working on. Notice that it tells me what equipment I am working on right here, so I can go find it. And I can open this up and start to do some things on that piece of equipment. First thing I might want to do is take a look at this individual piece of equipment and see if we've done any work on this equipment in the past. And I do that by opening up the equipment record and in taking a look at any equipment history that we have for this specific item. So I've pulled up the history records for this item, and I can scroll through and look at all the work that's been done for this specific item. Looks like I've replaced some filters, done some, replaced a compressor. So I've done some pretty significant work on this specific unit. If I've got a compressor problem, I can take a look at how long ago that compressor was replaced, or I can look at the individual components and take a look at this. So here you see that I've got this compressor that was disposed of, and I've got the new compressor there that's active. Now, it might be that that is under warranty. So I can come through and actually look at that individual compressor and see the warranty information right here on the screen. And sure enough, if I have to replace that compressor, it's under warranty. So I'm going to be sending it back to carrier and probably sending the labor bill back to carrier if that's our relationship with them. If not, then I'm going to be charging for the labor and not for the parts. However, the warranty is going to work. I now know that that is under warranty. So back to the detail line that we started from, I can start to use some of the functions of the phone now. Not that it's going to repair the item for me, but it's going to document what I'm doing. And I'll start by dictating detailed notes about the condition of the unit, about the resulting test, and the plan for correction. I can take pictures of the unit that I'm working on simply by going here to the paper clip and selecting the camera. I can go through and take a picture and add that to the case. And that becomes part of the case permanently. I can go through and pull up documents from the gallery if I wish to, but however we want to do that, we can go through and build those details. So I've dictated my notes. I've taken pictures. Now I'd like to go and pick the parts that I need to replace or repair this. So let's say that we found out it needed a filter and a breaker during our process of diagnostics. If I have those things on my truck, I can actually go ahead and pull those right from my truck inventory by using our item selection process. In the item selection window, I can filter that for my specific truck. And this is only if I have access to other sites. If I don't have access to any other sites besides my truck, then it would already come pre-filtered. Once I filter it, then I can go down and either look things up by scrolling and scanning and finding what I'm looking for, or I can select and look for an item using a search. So if I'm looking for a breaker, I can start to type in the word breaker, and I can find that item as well. So once I have those items selected, then I can add those to the job. So I just added the breaker to the job, and now I'm going to add that filter to the job. And let's say that I have some supplies I like to add to the job too, some canned air. I'll go ahead and add that. So now I've got a list of items that I've added to the job, and those are now billable against this specific job. Now, if I need to go out to the big box store and buy some nuts and bolts or something, I can go out and do that. I can create my receipt for that on the fly. Select the kind of item this is going to be. So if it's supplies, we'll select supplies. And I can determine if this is going to be billable or not. If I determine it's not really billable, then it will go ahead and add those supplies for me at the cost that I added them onto the service items. So since I added that at no cost, it came through at no cost, but it could have been, $100, it could have been $20, whatever that was going to be. I can add that to the cost of the appointment. If I need to find something at a supply store that is going to need a purchase order, I can add those items too. So I come in and I can add any kind of item here. I can look it up, and then I can mark it for purchase, and I can actually set it to purchase either to the service order. If it's going to be multiple appointments and I got to come back, I might do the service order. If I'm going to go right out to the supply store and pick it up right now and bring it back, I can purchase it to the appointment and then go through and create the purchase order. That purchase order, once created right here now from the app, will go through the same workflow approval process that you have set up for other purchase orders, if that is what you wish. If you've got a purchase order approval process, then you can approve those while people are in the field still doing their work. I'm going to remove this since we're not going to actually go ahead and purchase that out. And we're going to go ahead and start planning on how we're going to wrap this up. So a couple of things we're going to do. I'm going to go through and first tell it that I am completing. And why am I telling it that I'm completing? So I don't have to go and make my own time entry on this time log. When I tell it that I'm completing, it will go ahead, calculate the time that I've spent here on site, and put that in as a billable event and complete this line for me. So now the time that I've spent here has been tracked, and it is part of the detail line. It also goes through and sets the status of everything for me to completed instead of in process. So everything that I'm working on in this specific job is now completed. With this completed and all the chargeable items being ready for review, I can go ahead and create a preview report This preview report can be shared with the customer if you wish, or can just be for your technician to review, really up to you. But on this report, you can customize it to show anything. Here I've got it basically showing what my work order has been completed to cost. So I've got the travel time, I've got the service time, I've got the parts that I've added to this, and who has done the work, and a grand total at the bottom of the page. I can then ask the customer to sign that report as completed. And when they sign that report, we will have them added to the actual report. That signature becomes part of the report, as does the typing of whom that signature is supposed to represent. And if we wish to, almost like a packing slip, I can go ahead and email that report to the customer so they have their own copy of the final signed document for the appointment. And that really wraps up what we do in the field. I'm going to click this finish button, and it will set a condition in the back office that this appointment is ready to bill. So we can actually collect payment if we wish. So in the app, I've got a option to create a prepayment. And when I create this prepayment, it uses the payment process in Acumatica. So if you are integrated to a credit card processor, you can say accept a credit card. If you are supposed to take a check from this customer, then they can write you a check, and then you can record the check number and amount, and that will be a prepayment then for this appointment. Okay, so in the back office, as all of this has been occurring on the phone, everything is updated real time. So when I come into the application, I'm going to go to my query called Ready to Bill. And my appointment is going to be there and ready to bill. 6335 is in the list with notes and pictures. And now I can go in and review everything that has been completed. First, I see that I've got an activity, so it means that an email has been sent. We can open up that email and take a look at what was said. So here's the to, or the person who's getting the email. This is what has been said, and this is the file that has been created for the email signature and the name of the email, or the name of the person who signed the document. And of course, we have our own copy of that here under the files. So I've got the signed document here as well, coming from the mobile app. On the details line, pictures that were taken, notes that were taken in the field can be reviewed before we get to invoicing. We can go in and modify this if we need to. So if it's going to show up on the invoice and we'd like to change that so that it's more friendly verbiage, or maybe there's a mistype or something there, we can go in and make modifications before invoicing. We see that the repair line has been associated with that piece of target equipment, but the parts that we replaced have not been added to it. So we can come in and make those additions here if we wish to, just by looking up that equipment and adding it. Now, the technician had the chance, and I had the chance as I was doing the demo, to do this in the field. And if you forget, you can go through and make modifications for the items that are specifically replacing something in the unit itself. Here under my profitability tab, I can see that I've got a very thin margin on this for some reason. So we can come in and take a look at why our margin's so thin. So we look first at the the circuit breaker, well, I've got a 50% margin on that. Same with the HEPA filter, same with the canned air. But then I look here at my labor, and I'm seeing that my labor is $67 for a 66 for a very small amount of charge. So my travel, I should look at the charges that I've got for travel and for my repair time, because I'm just barely covering on the repair time. I'm charging $75 an hour, and I'm paying $67. And for the travel time, I'm charging $40 an hour, and I'm only getting, and I'm paying out $67. So that tells me that I've got some real issues here on the way I'm pricing out this job. It could be that I've sent the wrong person out. Could be that I just need to reestablish my prices. But I can review that and see what that is and start to make those determinations. Once we are satisfied that everything here is correct, and this is going to be what we're going to bill, I'll go ahead and close the job. And it is ready now to bill. So I've got two options on running billing in Acumatica. I can run the billing right here from the actual appointment, because these menu items have been changing every time we go through a workflow. It changes to the next logical menu option there on top. So I can just click run billing and run it, or I can automate my billing and run it all at one time during a day. So these screens that we're looking at here are automatable. So I can actually schedule this process to occur, and I can schedule it to occur daily or weekly, however I want this to happen. But when I make my choice of schedule, what it will do is go through and automatically run my billing process for me if that's what I wish to do. But today I'm just going to run this one bill. So I'll click the one bill here and hit process. And
or to a finer point there, that's also a batch billing. So you can automate the batch.
Yes.
You can manually run the batch, or you can selectively from the batch pick one, which is what Paul's doing here, which I think is pretty typical. You know, unless it's a really big work order or when you're trying to close out at the end of the week, you know, you're probably going to let this thing be as automated and batch centric as possible.
Right.
Maybe you want to run it every day. A lot of people would run billing daily.
Right, daily or even on a half day. But the nice thing is that process that we just looked at, a bill won't be produced unless you actually close that appointment. So it gives you full control over that automation.
Right.
So here's the invoice that has been created. When we come in, I can print this invoice to paper if I wish to. I don't know why I would, but I could. If I don't want to print it, I can send it by clicking the send button, and it will email this invoice out to the customer and attach the PDF of the invoice to the email. So full communication out of the system. I could also automate that process as well. We use what's called a quick process, and we can automate those invoices to automatically email out to the customer if we wish. The invoice is in a state of ready to post to the ledgers. And when I release this, it's going to post it to the AR subledger, to the general ledger. It will go through and update my inventory values in my truck. So all of this will take place and relieve the inventory and set up the general ledger properly.
So you could have your min-max reports running. You could still have your open order items to run. You could run conditions on that.
Yes.
It's just the booking of the GL entry. You could know what was encumbered, you know, by that work order. So, you know, if you needed to order 10 more widgets because you used a bunch of them during the day, even if they're not even if they're not released, you could still have your reporting information available to you.
When we go look at the piece of equipment that we've been working on, we can go in and review what's actually occurred with this in the same way that we can in the mobile phone or the iPad. It tracks all of the work that we've performed on this specific unit. Will show us any inventories that items that have been used in repair of the unit, and we'll organize those if we sort it properly by the actual units or the service orders that were performed for that work. This can be exported to Excel. It can be used to create a report if you'd rather create a report with it. So service contracts are available inside of Acumatica. These service contracts can be billed at the end or the beginning of a period and can be flat. You know, I'm going to bill at the beginning of a period. You're going to get whatever services that I'm going to provide for you that period are going to be paid for upfront. It's that kind of contract where I can bill up the beginning of the period. I can bill $1,000 and you get 100 hours of service. Anything above that 100 hours is going to be charged at a per hour rate. I can bill at the end of a period as well. So if I want to do end of the period at the end of every month, I'm going to charge you $100 plus whatever time you've used. However you want to build these, you can build these out. A contract, once it's created, can have a schedule for it. So here I've got an AC repair and cleaning contract that has a schedule built for it. These schedules are set to create appointments for me. And if I go in and take a look at the schedule, this is actually recurring on a monthly basis on the first Monday of every month. And so over the course of 2022, I'm going to see that I've got every month these contract dates that are coming due. And this is when appointments will be created. Now, let's look at January of 2022. When I am ready for the creation of all of my appointments for the month of January, or some of them, however I want to manage this, I can come in, select a date through the end of January 22. So I've got 1/31/22, and all of the contracts that have anything due during that month will show up. I can restrict this down by location or customer if I wish, so that I can run just those. And then when I process this, it will create for me the appointments for January of 2022. So I'll just process one here. And this will go to that list, that 96 appointments that I have unscheduled or that need to be scheduled. Now I've got 97 because I've just created another one. And so we can automate that process to run at a specific time, just like any other process in Acumatica. It can be we can schedule it. So if you want it to run the last day of the first day of the last week of the month, so that all your appointments for next month are generated all at one time, you can do that.